Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of World Talks here on TVP World, where every word matters. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee, and please join me and my guest on this next interview. Now, the Baltic region faces mounting challenges to its energy security as hybrid attacks on critical infrastructure increases. The recent sabotage of the Estlink 2 cable and reports of Russian-linked tankers equipped with spying devices underscore the geopolitical risks. Amid this, Estonia is planning a new gas-fired CHP plant, and Lithuania proposes a joint power plant with Latvia and Estonia to enhance regional resilience. Joining us today on TVP World to discuss this is Michał Paszkowski, Senior Analyst at the Institute of Central Europe in Lublin. Hello, sir, and welcome to TVP World.
Welcome. Thank you for this invitation.
Now, time again, we see Russian targeting energy infrastructure as well as utilizing its own energy sort of as a weapon, as a leverage against the Western world. I want to put things into context first regarding to this, most recent sabotage of the Estlink 2. Do you think that's a bigger hit practically, or is it more of a case of showcasing the vulnerability of the West when it comes to over-reliance on Russia for energy, as well as exposing the vulnerabilities of these infrastructure that could be targeted by Russia?
Well, I think the policy of Russia Federation right now accounts to just to create vulnerability and to make these countries, I could say, to struggle to many, I could say, attacks and struggle to some problems. And in this case, I think this is the goal of Russia Federation, just to lead to, for example, to higher energy prices, to change the policy of many European countries, to change to be I could say to less cooperate with Ukraine, to support Ukraine. So this is, I think, that the most important, and this is the whole, I could say, situation in the whole region, and the Russia Federation is doing whatever they can just to make uncertainty in this region.
Right, and we also see, some Baltic states facing great challenges when it comes to being independent from Russian energy. A lot of people have been talking about how important it is to not over-rely on them, but do you think there's any way or political will and intention to increase their security through energy independence in this part?
Yes, thank you. So I think that at the beginning we need to remember that right now these Baltic countries are not dependent on energy sources from Russia Federation. Of course, we can take into account, I think, in three sectors. So first of all, the crude oil sector. There is only one refinery in Lithuania, in these Baltic countries, so which belongs to Orlen company from Poland, and 100% of crude oil is not Russia crude oil right now, because the refinery decided, and the whole company decided that they will not import crude oil from this source. If we can take into account the natural gas, so right now the Baltic countries are not importing natural gas from Russia Federation. Okay, right now they are able to import natural gas from different sources using the LNG terminal in Klaipėda in Lithuania, which is sufficient to cover all, I could say, natural gas consumption in these countries. They have also access to GIP pipelines, so they are able to import natural gas from Poland, and they are also able to import natural gas from Finland because of the Baltic connector pipeline. Of course, this pipeline was damaged in I think it was October 2023, and right now it's in April was once again put online. So in that case, in that sense, I think they have opportunity to import natural gas from different sources using different roads. And right now they are not importing natural gas from Russia Federation. And if we are talking about the electricity, the steel sector, still right now they are not importing electricity from Russia Federation. Of course, there are still officially synchronized with the BREL system, which is the old Soviet system, and these countries are able to import electricity from Russia Federation, but they are not doing this. And at the beginning of February 2025, so this year, they will be fully synchronized with the European system. So in that sense, they are not dependent on Russia Federations, but of course there are a lot of and a bunch of, I could say, challenges related to energy issues, as we are talking about right now about this cable which was destroyed. So still this country needs to import electricity because there are net importers of electricity. So for them, that kind of situation is very difficult.
Right, and well, on the heels of that, Estonia has announced that it's going to create a new power plant, as well as it's joint projects from Lithuania, Latvia, to help mitigate some of the vulnerabilities. How do you think these will help in kind of mitigating these, like we said, vulnerabilities that exist?
I think this is very important for Estonia, and also we need to have to take into account that 45% of electricity right now in Estonia is produced from oil shale. This is not the same oil shale that we are talking about in the United States, that the United States can produce crude oil. But this oil shale is very similar to coal. So this is very high emission economy using 45% of electricity. So in that sense, changing the energy sources, which is less emission, it is very important for this energy transition point of view. And of course, having in mind very sufficient, I could say, options to import natural gas to change their electricity production to use natural gas is very important and very good, I would say, the decision. And we need to also have to, we need to remember also that in these countries, there is no nuclear energy power plant. Yeah. So you need to have some energy sources which will be the base. Of course, right now, they are using and I could say, investing in solar power plants, offshore wind plants, and onshore wind plants. But nevertheless, you need to have some energy sources which will be as a base for electricity production. And in that sense, using, for example, for Estonia, using natural gas, not using oil shale, as I mentioned, this is very similar to coal. It is very important.
Right, I think like you mentioned, resources is going to be a very crucial issue going forward. We've seen a lot of announcement to build new power plants. However, we also know that, well, it's one thing to have power plant and another is to actually have the extractive resources to generate these power. And where do you think they're going to be sourcing these, resources?
We are sorry because I couldn't explain. Could you repeat the question? Because we are saying about this, what kind of energy sources they are going to use, or from which countries they are planning?
Yeah, mostly. Where will the resources be coming from?
Okay, so right now, as I say, they are less dependent on Russia Federation, so are cooperating with many countries. Of course, for Estonia, for example, it is very important to have access to electricity markets in Sweden, but also Lithuania and Latvia. But so if we are talking about this electricity issues, so having access to a European Union system, they will be able to import, I could say, electricity for different countries. And if we are talking about crude oil, for example, we are importing crude oil from Saudi Arabia, because this is the case of the Orlen company, which have a long-term contract with Saudi Aramco. And also, if we are talking about natural gas, so the most important energy supplier is United States, and also in part Norway. Other countries, I could say, Qatar is less important for that kind of countries.
Right. And last but not least, in your opinion, what do you think is the most immediate step that Baltic nations should take to fortify energy systems against these hybrid threats from Russia?
Well, actually, right now, this is very difficult for them because they have, as I mentioned, they are a net importer of electricity. For example, Estonia, it is something like 46% of electricity is imported from to this country. So they are more consuming than they are producing electricity. So in that sense, this is very very a big challenge for them. And also we need to remember that in November they decided that they will create energy hub in Baltic Energy Hub. This is the step forward to be not only the importer of electricity, but also have a big capacity of electricity to also be able to export. But it will take years to do that. So for now, the most important is to have very good access to electricity system of Poland, and also these cables which are still operating. It is also important to have access to them and import. Right now we are in this, I could say, process in the market when energy prices are much higher. Of course, we are also we need to take into account, for example, the situation which you mentioned in this program, that right now we don't have natural gas imports transport through Ukraine. So electricity prices or natural gas prices are very high. So for that point of market that when we are right now, so this is important to have all the resources, and all the electricity infrastructure to be fully operational.
Right, so it does seem like there's still some logistic issues to solve, but in the meantime, this is perhaps a step towards a good direction. Thank you so much for your input and insight. Really appreciate it, and thanks for being with us.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. And thank you for watching this edition of World Talks. But for more news, update, and commentary, please stay tuned to TVP World.